Oh, heck yeah. Oh, this is probably the dude that found him dead.
I asked not to be disturbed.
Brother Remigius, I'm sorry I interrupted your service.
You mean Prior James's service?
Quite so. I heard he fell through the ice. Horrible.
Yes. I was the one who found his rosary by the river. Now let me continue my work.
Oh. So he doesn't want me to bother him. And he's the one who found the rosary. I feel suspicious of him already. I'm still gonna bother him. I want to know if he knows anything about Francis's night.
Did a knight come to Kingsbridge within the last few weeks?
Of course. Even the bishop and the earl were here for the Christmas service. I held the sermon.
And the week before?
That week I was not here. Andrew Sacrist and I travelled to Shiring to hire cooks and buy food for our guests.
I see.
I feel like if I ask him this, it's just gonna irritate him. I mean...
Why would Prior James walk out onto the river at night?
He was chased.
Chased? By whom?
The accuser.
But why would the devil be chasing him?
Better to not get involved in all this. Hmm? Don't you have your own priory cell to run?
Ooh. Ah, ooh. He is definitely irritable. Let's let's keep poking him with a stick, man.
You really believe the devil killed the prior?
Some of the brothers do, and I respect their beliefs. May never know what happened, and that's that. Now let me get back to my work.
Well, let's move on. He obviously has nothing. And I'm not going to be allowed to look around the room. Great. Okay, well, at least we connected with him about the night. The novice I met at the bridge, both should be working or studying the Bible. Yeah, both of them are literally just trying to catch some fish for that cheese.
My father gave the priory a good deal of land to keep me fed. I won't eat salted fish all day.
Me neither.
Shall we go into the cellar again tonight?
Yes, Brother Marcus. You still have old Cuthbert's keys?
Indeed I do. I hid them right in the church. Stuffed them in the large crack in the wall.
I could do some crack stuffing myself.
What? Crack stuffing?
I bet you could.
Oh my gosh. Was that, I feel like that was... Are these boys doing more than just sneaking down into the cellar at night? Alright. One of the novices said he hid Cuthbert's keys in the crack in the cathedral. Well, obviously we're going to take the keys. Also, let's read a Bible verse to them.
I will contemplate this later. Not now.
I guess we're just gonna... They're confessing without knowing it. Lost their way. Not beyond saving. Okay, well, I have no freaking clue what's going on with this village. Obviously, Prior James wasn't really doing his job well. Let's read to this grave. I'd like to know who he's burying.
May his soul rest in peace.
Maybe we can bless everybody in this this graveyard.
An hour is coming when all who are in the tombs will hear his voice and come out. Those who have done good to the resurrection of life, and those who have done evil to the resurrection of judgment.
And what about using the Bible on you?
Do not rebuke an older man, but encourage him, as you would a father.
What was that?
Scripture, Brother Arnaldus.
What?
All is well. Do not mind me.
Brother Arnaldus is hard of hearing. Probably dug grave for James, but James's grave is empty. How many empty graves are here?
Brother Arnaldus, how are you?
Huh? What?
How are you? Are you well?
Oh, Brother Philip. Yes, I am well. It's just that the dead won't stay in the ground.
What?
The dead. It's probably those badgers always digging up the graves.
What? How much you want to bet that these kids are digging up graves to grave rob? Or, how about this? If you put the old dude on grave digging, do you think he's actually digging the graves deep enough? I don't know. So, the cathedral. Door to the cloister. Path around the cathedral. I think you can get back in there through here.
Why do we create temples if we are the temple?
The chapter house.
Isn't it almost arrogant to try and build a
Let's
great
go
temple?
back into the cathedral and get that key. I really feel like the end of this chapter is going to be going to the kitchen. Oh, I wonder if we could ask the young gentleman about the knight. That looks like it just drops
The
off
novice
into
said he hid
nowhere.
the keys in here. They're here. I have them.
Cuthbert's keys unlock most of the doors and gates in this priory. Let's take them. So I do want to go up the staircase onto the roof. Here I am, just,
No, I'll stay down here.
really? Are you...
I'm not good with heights.
I was just gonna say, is he, like, scared of heights? Well, let's go to the crypt. Ooh, what's in the crypt? Oh gosh, I don't think I want to know. If the bodies are coming out... No. If the bodies are coming out... Do I want to be down here? Okay, I'm getting creepy vibes. Can I lock that? Is there going to be zombies? No, there's not going to be zombies. A sarcophagus, darkness... I can't see shit, dude. Remains of Saint Adolphus, one of the 49 martyrs, lying in wait.
Let's see what we can find. No reason to be afraid.
Well, I mean, if you're afraid of heights, I would take a stab in the dark that you're scared of the dark as well.
Nothing here. The saint rests in peace.
You know, I feel like we need a candle or something.
No strange sounds or sights.
Can we go down one of these? Can't see. If I look around, my eyes may adjust. Feeling of being watched. Oh, freaking heck,
These
dude.
old cathedrals are bound to make strange sounds. Hello? No. No one. Not a thing.
I'm done. Get the fuck out of there, Philip. Jeez. Yeah, no. Not cool, bro. And then I just left without locking the, like locking that back up. The crypt is now unlocked, and I felt something looking at me, and it was probably the devil, honestly. Okay, let's just forget about that. The Clouster, path around the, I want to go see those gentlemen. I need to ask them a question. I want to see if they have, or if I can ask them about the night.
We wouldn't be here if it weren't for the cathedral. It feeds us.
We are people of God. Yet we need to eat too.
Literally, I
Come
can't
together
ask
here.
them.
The pilgrims
Oh, here we
donate.
go.
So do the nobles.
Brothers, have you two heard about a knight visiting Kingsbridge?
The Earl of Shiring was here, and some of his knights.
And many other nobles at Christmas.
It would have been a lone rider, a messenger.
I don't think so.
If someone had come to Kingsbridge, Brother Paul would have seen him.
Brother Paul went back out to his toll hut.
I see. Thank you.
I think Brother Paul was in the cemetery. Alright, now that I know that I can do this, let's ask the old man if he can even hear about this night.
Say, has there been a knight to Kingsbridge?
A knight? A knight? Yes. He's here. Right here.
Do you know who he was? How did he die?
Brother Paul found him.
Where is Paul?
Down at the bridge, freezing his walnuts off, I reckon. He talked to him. I only put him in the ground.
Well, that's not good.
That's all I ever do.
Do you have any idea what the knight was doing here?
Probably tried to jump off the end of the world.
What do you mean?
There is nothing here. Kingsbridge lies at the end of the road. Nobody comes here.
This wasn't Paul? Can I ask them about?
No, no sign of the messenger.
Okay. Let's get out of here.
I see.
We'll go, I think the chapter
What
house.
do we have to
Oh,
ask
hello.
ourselves is, can our Saint Adolphus still protect Kingsbridge in these dark times?
He couldn't protect Prior James. Ever since that lightning struck the cathedral, he wasn't the same.
When you take over my position as sacrist, you should implore the bishop to send us a new relic. By then I'll be sub-prior. The new prior and I will support you in this.
A new relic might also attract more pilgrims.
Philip of Gwynedd, I wanted to talk to you. How dare you disturb Brother Remigius' requiem?
I'm afraid the choir is waiting for me.
Stay, brother. There's no reason you shouldn't hear what Philip has to say for himself.
Like I knew what was going on.
I beg your forgiveness. I was overwhelmed when I heard Prior James passed.
You should know better. I'm sure at St. John's you're a good prior, but here we adhere to the rules.
You mentioned a new prior.
The election will be held in a few days, when we all convene for the chapter meeting.
Alright, well, nothing like... I'm just coming here trying not to ruffle any feathers.
Brother Andrew, have you heard about a knight in Kingsbridge?
Aside from the ones that visited for Christmas? No. If there had been an official guest, I would know. And no one stayed at our guest house.
This is kind of sketchy. Like, why... Why... Wait a minute, so the knight didn't even make it past the gate. No one knows about him, unless they're just acting like they don't know about him.
Let us continue this conversation later.
Did they find out?
Of course. There's a lot of planning.
I feel like the knight found out something that he wasn't supposed to.
Yes.
We
Okay,
must take
well,
good care of us. And our cathedral.
I don't need to go
We
through
must.
there. There's nothing in the garden for me. Path to the mill. Ooh, I feel like we haven't been out there yet, so... Oh yeah, never mind, we've been here. Go back to the front. I suppose the only place that we haven't been now is going to be the kitchen. So, say a little prayer.
So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God.
And then, YOLO. Maybe I'll be dinner.
Philip!
Brother Milius.
Come! Warm yourself by the oven.
Is that Philip? Tell him to warm himself by the oven.
Thank you, Brother Cuthbert.
Brother Cuthbert, I have your keys, sir. I'm keeping them safe in my pocket. You know, the kids around here, they're just so easily stealing from you, sir.
Ah, wonderful.
I always put some extra stones on the stove to warm up water. Put one in your pocket, and you'll keep warm.
Oh? Ouch.
Careful, they're hot.
Well, maybe we can wrap it in this cloth? Okay. The stone is still hot, perfect to keep warm on cold winter days.
Nice and warm. And I didn't burn my hands, Milius.
I knew you could do it.
I knew you could handle a hot stone with your gross cheese cloth. It probably smells like burnt cheese by now. Ladles and spoons. Milius keeps everything nice and tidy. I'll just
You keep everything nice and tidy around
double
here,
check
Milius?
on that.
It's not easy. This morning one of my ladles broke. That's never a good sign. Everything is falling apart.
Nice pot with some seeds in it. Too nice a pot for a monk.
Milius, why do you keep a beautiful pot like this around?
Oh, it reminds me that we should strive for order and beauty. I started collecting some seeds and nuts because I wanted to start a new garden.
A good idea.
I never got around to collecting more, though. If you find some, let me know.
A sure thing, Milius.
I'm sure the Lord will forgive you for being attached to such a beautiful little pot.
I hope he will.
Why would I say something? Milius, is someone trying to buy your silence?
Is not my word like fire, declares the Lord, and like a hammer that breaks the rock in pieces?
Praise the Lord.
What else is in here other than Cuthbert over here? Anything? Nope. Well, let's speak with Cuthbert. Ask him about this knight.
Has there been a knight to Kingsbridge recently?
Milius, wasn't there a poor soul found dead before Christmas?
I don't know if he was a knight.
He was put to rest in the cemetery.
The cemetery. That was the right thing to do.
We've already checked.
The glory of young men is their strength, but the splendor of old men is their grey hair.
Matthew?
Proverbs.
I'm afraid I won't have much chance to improve my reading at my age. But I'll take your word for it. Proverbs it is.
Cuthbert Whitehead, the cellarer. He and his stores smell of hops and honey, old apples, dried herbs, and vinegar. What you got to say for yourself, sir?
Brother Cuthbert.
Ah, we were waiting for you. I hope you brought some of that wonderful cheese you make at St. John's.
I gave it to one of your novices.
Why would you do that?
He said it's not easy doing the Lord's work when you're hungry.
Greedy brother Marcus.
You are too trusting, Philip.
Okay, well, I feel like I'm a fool. I felt like a fool as soon as I gave him the entire wheel of cheese.
Brother Cuthbert, you seem worried.
Prior James was a kind man, but the priory is in a terrible state, Philip.
Philip knows. He was just too kind to say anything.
Yes, I know. I wanted to use my New Year's visit to talk with Prior James about these matters.
We should be rich. The priory has much land and collects from many parish churches. But we are in debt. Our novices steal from us, Philip.
What? I mean, they kind of did it to me too, so...
The novices are stealing?
Yes, someone took my keys. Remigius blames me for losing them. But someone used them to steal food from the cellar, more than once. Today I found something missing again.
Well, I found the keys, dude.
Cuthbert, I believe I found your keys.
Where did you find them?
The thief hid them in the cathedral.
That is a sacrilege. Will you report the thief to Remigius, Brother Philip?
I will think about it.
Keep them until we know what to do, will you?
Ah, great.
Let us continue another time, Brother Cuthbert.
Of course.
I really didn't want to get involved in this drama, but it looks like I've just been roped in because I heard some kid talking about some keys and stealing some food. Brother Milius is the kitchener, about my age, and my friend smelling of fish and salt. I wonder why.
Hard at work, as usual, Milius?
I have to serve salt fish 6 times a week now.
We hear you have fresh fish every day at your cell in the forest.
Every other day, we even have poultry.
You have done wonderful work at St. John's, Philip.
Where's your cross, bro? I just realized.
We, on the other hand, had a weak prior for 13 years. May the Lord rest his soul. What you worked hard for at St. John's is wasted here in the mother house.
After the election, the new prior ought to put things right.
Remigius. Put things right.
Maybe we underestimate Remigius.
He's about to burn all the books and documents in the prior's room, including the priory's ledgers.
Remigius says James asked for everything to be burnt after his death, except for his Bible.
What?
I call bullshit. There's no way.
Without the ledgers, the priory's finances will be beyond saving.
Alright, I have to step in.
Was no one else nominated?
Only Cuthbert.
I refused. I'm too old.
No one else dares to follow in Prior James's footsteps. Not since he began talking to the devil.
What?
One day he started talking to the devil, as if they were standing side by side. He was bargaining with the devil for his soul, whispering about his sins.
His sins?
I like how it's just so nonchalant for him just to be talking about, yeah, he was just telling, you know, he was talking to the devil, whatever.
Did you see a knight in Kingsbridge?
You mean, aside from the nobles attending the Christmas service? No, I don't remember any knights visiting us.
Well, looks like we're gonna have to go to the gate.
We'll talk more later.
Get my cheese back, among other things. So, let's go ahead and we don't need to be here anymore in the kitchen. Where is the cellar, by the way? It said the kitchen and the cellar. Wait a minute, let's go in one more time. It said kitchen in the cellar, but I didn't see an option to go into the cellar unless that's over by Cuthbert.
When will these novices learn to close the door?
Sure, I just did. Yeah, there's nothing in here. Kitchen and cellar. I don't see an option for the cellar, so it must just be, you know, assumed that it's in here. And now I feel bad about not sharing my delicious cheese with my brothers. I'm trying to think. So we have keys that we need to go into James's, you know, go check out the sketchy guy. But I want to go back to the gate. What's over here? Can I do anything? No. The village road to the south. Let's go to the road to the south. There was something over here. Brother Paul. Path to the mill. I want to go to the path between the trees. Rough stone poking out from the ground. If I were a mason, it might be of use to me. Beech nuts. I'm wondering if this is where Tom is going to end up.
The shape of these stones is always proof to me that the Lord has created all this, as are the shapes of leaves and snail shells. God has made them and has made them well.
There's also nuts here. Quite a few nuts, but judging by the track, squirrels are interested as well. Let's pick them up. We could bring them to Brother Milius. A few beech nuts. Sweet. Nothing else in this area. Go back and speak with Brother Paul. Freezing. Tries not to let it show. Too cold for someone his age. Well, let's give him the stone.
Here, Paul.
Oh. Ouch! Oh. A hot stone! Ah! It's a mercy, Philip. Thank you.
Remigius should give you a fire, or not have you sit here at all.
I don't really mind. Winter is bound to end sometime. Philip, if you ever run into trouble with Remigius, be careful to answer him. Do not stay silent.
Silent?
Nothing makes him angrier than someone who doesn't answer. He becomes weak and defensive. It's not fitting for a sub-prior, let alone prior.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so we just got some information. He becomes weak and irritable when we don't answer him. Interesting.
Are you studying the Bible, Brother Paul?
Me? No. I always lose the words when I try to read. But I listen carefully to what James and Remigius tell us. This hot stone is a blessing, Philip.
Have you heard about a knight in Kingsbridge?
A knight? Oh, yeah. Yes. He was just lying by the road, just a mile away from the priory. He must have fallen from his horse.
Where is he now?
He died. We buried him in the cemetery.
Did he have a name? Did he say anything?
He could not speak. But the look in his eyes told me he was afraid. I held his hand and prayed with him while he died.
Did the knight have anything with him?
There was a letter. I gave it to Prior James. Remigius will probably burn it with the rest of James's papers. James insisted that all his books and documents shall be burnt after his death, except for his Bible.
I heard about this. I think that would be unwise.
Sometimes I wonder if it was because of that letter. A few days later, Prior James fell through the ice. Right here, Philip. Maybe I brought a curse on Kingsbridge.
Wait a minute. This is getting really sketchy now.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Have faith in the Lord, Brother Paul. You did well.
Thank you, Philip.